Today, to kick off our podcast series, we're going to talk about coaching, of course, but we'd like to demystify for you what it is and how it can be useful to you and to go where you want in your career, your work relationships, and your life in general. So it's my great pleasure to welcome in this first coaching conversation someone who inspires me and whom many of you know. France Hutchison is a certified coach and a leadership facilitator. She's the creator, the instigator of several coaching initiatives in the public service of Canada, including this Coaching Summit 2020, as well as the original version of this event a few months earlier. France is an unparalleled leader who, through her contagious enthusiasm, engages talented and experienced collaborators and thus succeeds in doing a lot with few resources. Finally, I'd like to also mention that France is now with the program of the free agents, she's been there for a few months, and she's developing and creating a new program of team coaching. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome you, France. It's an honor to launch this series with you.
Thank you, Pascale, and thank you for this beautiful introduction. I am so blessed to be working in that space of coaching, and I am excited to share more about the impact of coaching.
Thank you very much, France. And before we start on coaching and what it is, I'd like to know what brought you to coaching, what it brought to your life.
Hmm, Great question. I've been 22 years in the public service, maybe a bit more. And through that career, I was recruited early on to develop my leadership competencies. And through that program within the public service, I had a chance to have a coach. And at that time, I didn't really know what a coach was doing. I was just been assigned to someone who was helping me demystify my leadership competencies, have those discussion where I was exposing maybe the challenges I was having in the workplace, the choices I had to make, and also we were using some psychometric tools in order to give me a portrait of who I was as a leader and maybe the strength areas and the weaknesses. So very early on, I discovered the power of that conversation with someone who was neutral, was bouncing back questions and definitely helping me understand who I was. So after that I discovered that it was a coach, and that coach was someone neutral, someone who was not I was not working for. It was really someone who was assigned in that program. I was so I would say this program really helped me at so many levels, but the coaching conversation helped me so much that at one point I wanted to become a certified coach and do the same and give back. So this is how coaching was introduced in my early on in my career.
Thank you for that, France. And actually, I would echo what you're saying about the value it has brought into my life. And I was introduced to coaching in a different fashion, but definitely something that has had tremendous impact in my life.
I can definitely share that I had to make those tough choices early on in my career because I am a mother of a child who is autistic. So early on, I had to choose sometimes between caring, taking care of, and taking care of my career. So, having the help of a coach it was really beneficial because I needed to have those moments where I needed to clarify where I was going, how I was going to achieve it or go there without burning myself. And that was very important because I was needed somewhere else and I needed to take care of that energy.
Thank you. And you're saying that coaching has helped you tremendously. And I think that the listeners will appreciate that as well. But I'm sure they have questions also on what's the difference between therapy, counseling, mentoring, and coaching? Because I think the terminology out there is quite confusing sometimes. So if you could give us a little bit of a topo on that.
Really, the perspective we normally have is that we need a coach to fix something. That's a definition I would like to maybe change because you don't need to fix anything when you are receiving the service of a coach. You will have the service of a coach or benefit from the conversation with a coach in order to get clarity on where you're going. So really focus on the future, where you're going, What's the best definition you want to have for your leadership skills, your style? What is the person you want to become in the future? Who are you now and where are you going? So the coach will help you with identifying the present, but also focusing a lot on the future. The coach will never give you solutions, will never tell you who you should be in the future. They will just ask you very good open questions that will help you define it. As compared to the mentor is someone we're looking up to. A mentor is someone normally who has experience. We value that experience. We think they're experts in certain fields. We want to modelize their approach or their solutions. So, a mentor is really someone that has that skill that can be transferred to you, and the knowledge that can be transferred to you, and the solution as well. So, we normally go to seek, specifically in the workplace, mentors who have been in the same seat or have been using the same shoes, and we want to go on the similar path, and we want to hear from their story. As compared to the psychotherapy, when we live those transitions in life, we have challenges also. We are human beings, and we normally sometimes, we not normally, but we sometimes need help clarifying things from the past that we're keeping dragging in our present. That is sometimes tinting also the way we behave. And the psychotherapist or the psychologist is there to support you and have that conversation around what happened in the past that needs to change in the present, and will also not be brought in your future. So the therapist is really there a bit more to focus on what you're struggling with, but more like at a psychology level and based on your past. So that's how I define, or I distinguish the three. Past is more related to the psychologist, and the mentor is someone who's sharing their story, their solutions, and the coach is helping you define where you are and where you want to go.
In the future. Thank
Mhm.
you for that. And can you tell us a little bit about where coaching comes from? Because people hear typically about the basketball or the hockey coach, but is there a link? What's the connection there?
Oh, and that's a good question. Normally, people who don't know what coaching is, they think about a coach of a sports team. And this is actually, it's a good start for a definition. The coach sees potential. The coach knows the game, has the tools to make you better at what you want to become. So, for example, a coach of a hockey player, they will know that the hockey player wants to play a certain position. They know the game, they know the team, they know what it takes to go there, and they will help you become the best version of your of who you want to be as a hockey player. Well, it's the same thing for a coach in a leadership environment, and also a life coach. They see what you want to become, and they will help you through the questioning and through their skills of and what they got out of their certification. They will help you become the best version of who you want to become. But at the same time, they are there to clarify with you which position do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Not what you don't want to use anymore as your skills, or not to focus on only your weakness, because a coach is there to empower you to become the best version of who you want to be. And in our lives, we spend a lot of time focusing on the things we don't want, the things that makes us sad, frustrated, that we just want to eliminate. But we spend time just defining the negativity, where the coach will help you focus on the right things that you need to be where you want to be.
A lot of people ask questions about who can be or can call him or herself a coach.
Mhm.
What's a certified coach? Can you just tell us a little bit more, a
Yes.
little bit what it is? Thank you.
Yes. In a nutshell, a coach needs a certification. It's not someone that wakes up in the morning and just put the title beside their name and say, I will coach this person because I love to help. No, they have techniques.
Mhm.
They are learning the techniques. It's a certification that takes a lot of time. For certain types of coaching, it might take years. And you have different styles of coaching. So there's a certification attached to it. There's also an organization that oversees the profession of coaching. One that I know, because there could be many, there are many organizations. It's the ICF, International Coaching Federation. They offer a code of ethics. They also give guidance on the types of competencies that a coach should require, and they also offer certain types of certification levels. So there are different styles of coaching. You can use leadership coach, a business coach. You can use a life coach. But in majority, how you choose your coach is based, yes, on their skills, levels of certification, the types of coaching you need, but also with the connection you have with your coach. You choose your coach based on your preferences, the personality traits of your coach, and the connection you have, but also the level of trust you have on that person. Because it's a relationship. It's a relationship with a person that helps you grow. And at the same time, it's a medium long term relationship. Even if you meet for 60 minutes to an hour and a half for the conversation, you will repeat that on your calendar a few times, even once a month, twice a month. It depends of your program and your preferences, and the objectives that you set for yourself. But the coach is there to help you through a medium long term process. And you can change your coach, Pascale. I've changed coaches at different moments in my life for different reasons, because I needed to shift in a transition. I needed life coaching at one point. So you choose your coach based also on your objectives.
Thank you very much for that. And on that, I'll add that between sessions, your mind travels, your inspirations and your creativity gets triggered. And that's where most of the work happens. So when you get to your next conversation, things have evolved, and sometimes you haven't even noticed it, but you're already moving into the persona that you want to be.
Yes.
So that time between sessions is extremely important. And that's why it's a long-term relationship or medium term. It's not something that happens overnight. It's not like a training where you have a 2-day course and then you implement a technique or something. It really takes time because it's you transforming over time. If you want to do, if you want to reap the benefits of that investment.
Yes, and I think if I wanted to maybe just send one key message to people who are listening, coaching transforms yourself. You cannot you cannot get out of the coaching conversation without any value added, because it transforms yourself. It helps you connect with yourself, and you don't have to be a coach to modelize the approach of a coach afterwards. I really think that once you've lived the coaching conversation, you will see things differently. You will ask yourself different questions, and you will feel definitely empowered. I feel that I really felt that coaching it gave me the energy that I needed to be or become who I wanted to really be. And it's really uplifting to have the support of a coach in that sense.
I so much fully agree with you. And actually, these activities, many of us coaches of the public service are doing it as a side activity aside from our main job. But we're so passionate because it helps us ultimately. It transforms us, and it gives us the energy sometimes to tackle new challenges. And on that, I'll make a connection with the period we're living in,
Mm-hmm.
this pandemic. Um, we're doing this podcast, this interview in 2020. And so a lot of things have challenged us this year. And so let's take advantage of the constraints that are provided to us as a gift and be transformed by them. And if coaching can help you transform that into and help you get to where you want to be, or just be the person, or just be fully embrace the person you are with your talents, etc., just do it, engage. And on that brings me to the final concluding word, France, that it was such a pleasure and an honor to launch these coaching conversations with you. And during this, to introduce also the Coaching Summit 2020 that you've stirred in the back, and you've gathered so many people to be active in this. So this is such a pleasure, and I hope that our listeners will totally enjoy it. and take advantage of what's being offered to them for free, thanks to the efforts of many, but thanks to your leadership as well, France.
Thank you. And this could not happen without the support of the coaches and the community. So when you live coaching, you get a sense to belong somewhere and you connect with people differently. So if you live coaching, just see it as a new way of connecting. Thank you, Pascal, for the opportunity to discuss this with you.